long after the Songkran water throwing festival that year, Julie graduated from 8th grade. She's seen here shaking hands with Dr. Conrad Kingsill. Julie then came to the States for high school. That same summer, in 1978, Jennifer McDaniel Licht was born in Berkeley, California. She filled our hearts with more happiness than we could even hold.
I hope the days come easy and the moments pass slow, and each road leads you where you wanna go. And if you're faced with a choice and you have to choose, I hope you choose the one that means the most to you. And if one door opens to another door closed, I hope you keep on walking till you find the window. If it's cold outside, show the world the warmth of your smile. But more than anything, more than anything, my wish for you is that this life becomes all that you want it to. Your dreams stay big, your worries stay small. You never need to carry more than you can hold. And while you're out there getting where you're getting to, I hope you know somebody loves you and wants the same thing you in the place you left. I hope you always forgive and you never regret, and you help somebody every chance you get. Oh, you find God's grace in every mistake, and always give more than you take. But more than anything, yeah, more than anything, my wish for you is that this life becomes all that you wanted to. Your dreams stay big, your worries stay small. You never need to carry more than you can hold. And while you're out there getting where you're getting to, I hope you know somebody loves you and wants to say thanks to. Yeah, this is my My wish for you is that this life becomes all that you wanted to. Your dreams stay big, your worries stay small. You never need to carry more than you can hold. And while you're out there getting where you're getting to, I hope you know somebody loves you and wants to say thanks to. Yeah, this is my wish. This is my wish. I hope you know somebody loves you. May all your dreams stay big. From the dark end of the street to the bright side of the road, we've been lovers once again on the bright side of the road. Little darling, come with me. Won't you help me share my load? From the dark end of the street to the bright side of the road. And into this life we're born. Baby, sometimes we don't know why.
In late September 1980, Dad agreed to be the ship's doctor on a Christian vessel called the Logos, which means the Word. They sailed out of Hong Kong Harbor with the purpose of supplying Christian literature in various ports of call and encouraging cross-cultural understanding while sharing a message of hope in God wherever opportunity might arise. The opportunity to demonstrate God's love came up in a major way when the Logos came upon desperate people fleeing communist Vietnam. The so-called boat people frequently attempted to escape in an assortment of fishing vessels, often at tremendous personal risk. They not only faced storms, hunger, thirst, seasickness, and relentless heat, but they were also frequently targeted by looters and pirates taking advantage of their helplessness. The refugees desperately flagged down the Logos, begging for help. They were adrift in stormy seas. These are movies Dad was shooting to document the heroic efforts of the Logos crew to save the lives of the boat people. Initially, the captain of the Logos offered them supplies of food and water. He permitted just the captain of the fishing vessel to come aboard. But as the storm grew more intense, so did the fear that the refugees might perish.
The dilemma for the Logos crew was what to do with the boat people if they were permitted to come aboard. They couldn't be sent back to Vietnam, and neighboring countries had grown weary of accepting the influx of refugees. At some point, a second desperate boat was spotted, and so the dilemma doubled. Some of the passengers on the fishing vessels were clearly quite ill and had to be hoisted up to the Logos in makeshift swings and slings. In all, close to 100 people were rescued. It proved to be very difficult to convince the Thai officials to allow the refugees onto Thai soil. We don't know if Dad helped by using his considerable powers of persuasion and language skills, but we do know that his job as ship's doctor kept him very busy as he evaluated the sickest of the refugees and figured out how to keep them separate from the volunteers on board in case of communicable disease.
In December 1981, our family had an opportunity to go to Thailand together. Jennifer was about 3.5 years old. Jason was 1 3/4, and Jesse, of course, wasn't born yet. One of the things that was fun to do was go watch the elephant show outside of Chiang Mai, where they demonstrated elephants moving teak logs around like they used to in the forest, and it was an opportunity to feed the elephants and then go for a ride. One of the days that we were in the north, we went to Lampang, a nearby city, which is famed for having horse-drawn carriages. A bit of an oddity, actually, for Thailand. Jake thought he might like the ride up front with the driver, but changed his mind and moved to the back.
They told me, a newborn king to see, our finest gifts we bring, to lay before the king, So to honor him, when we come. Little baby, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. I am a poor boy too, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. I have no gift to bring, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. That's fit to give our King, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. Rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum. Shall I play for you, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, on my drum, on my drum. The ox and lamb kept time, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. I played my drum for him, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. I played my best for him, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum. Then he smiled at me, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, beat my drum. When we come, beat my drum.
In the morning when the world was begun, and I danced in the moon and the stars and the sun. I came down from heaven and I danced on the earth. At Bethlehem I had my birth. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance. I danced for the scribe and the Pharisee, but they would not dance and they wouldn't follow me. I danced for the fishermen, for James and John. They came with me and the dance went on. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. I danced on the Sabbath and I cured the lame. The holy people said it was a
Let's enjoy it while we can.
Let's enjoy it while we can.
Won't you help me share my load?
Help me share my load.
From the dark and lonely street to the bright side of the road. Cricket! bright side of the road.
To the bright side of the road.
Little darling, come on, look.
On the bright side of the road.
Come on, tell me. Hey, on the dark end of the street.
On the dark end of the street.
To the bright side of the road.
To the bright side of the road.
We love us once again.
On the bright side of the road.
Well, we love us once again.
On the bright side of the road.
There are roads in this life that we all travel. There are scars and there are battles where we roam. When we are lost, or wherever we may go, they will always lead you home. Some are long and some are weathered. Some will lead you through a storm. When you've gone astray, you will find your way as you walk along these roads. There were times when I stumbled and I wandered, but every choice and every step I don't regret, 'cause I have lived and I have loved like no other. I won't fear what lies ahead. Some are long and some are weathered. Some will lead you through a storm. When you've gone astray, you will find your way as you walk along these roads. There are roads in this life that I have traveled. There are scars and there are battles. This I know. I've been lost, but no matter where I go, they will one day lead me home. They will one day lead me home.
After they had been in several of the national parks in the West, Dad and Catherine came back to Oakland to return our van, our camper van that we had loaned to them, and one of the things Dad took movies of was Jeff cooking abalone. And also just having fun with our kids out on the back deck. Julie had lived with a family named the Andersons during high school, and so we went up to Walla Walla, where they lived, in order to attend her high school graduation. This was their house and her house for 3 years, her sophomore through senior
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream, make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him 2 lips like roses and clover, then tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone, don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beam, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream, make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him the word that I'm not a robot.
After Dad retired from the Presbyterian Mission in 1982 at age 65, he and Catherine joined a nonprofit relief organization called World Neighbors. The two of them continued to be based out of Chiang Mai, but traveled extensively throughout Asia in countries such as the Philippines. World Neighbors tried to offer people a hand up, not a hand out, and Dad and Catherine spent some of their time observing ways the organization was assisting poor people to develop new ways of earning a living. Their travels took them to Nepal, and Dad captured the landing in Kathmandu, the capital.
Catherine was surrounded by curious children in the countryside where people dried dung cakes by sticking them to the sides of their houses. Later, these would be used for fuel.
If I told you my story, you would hear hope.
This rice threshing machine was foot-powered and apparently struck Dad as a brilliant invention.
And if I told you my story, you would hear love that never gave up.
Tom Ahrens was a colleague at World Neighbors, and he took Dad and Catherine up to a high point where they had a terrific view of the Himalayan mountain range. This was chilly country for people accustomed to the heat of Thailand.
Then let it be of the grace that is greater than all.
The trip to Nepal also involved a stop in India to see one of Dad's all-time favorite sights, the beautiful Taj Mahal. I wonder how many times during his lifetime he saw this stunning place.
Oh, to tell you my story is to tell of you.
A major stop for Catherine and Dad was Bangladesh, a desperately poor country. Their assistance in figuring out ways to make family planning more accessible, affordable, and acceptable to the people of Bangladesh was certainly needed.
If I told you my story.
Catherine's notes say that they visited Dr. Penny Sutterthwaite, seen in the light pink sari. She appears to have taken them to see a cholera hospital where desperately sick children and adults were arriving by boat. Although our dad's formal missionary work ended at age 65, he continued together with Catherine, to find meaningful ways to love and serve his fellow man in the name of Jesus.
That all my sin of when justice was served and where mercy wins, of the kindness of Jesus that draws me in. Oh, to tell you my story is to tell of you.
Well, let's see how the patients in room 2 are today. This man's chest tube here?
Just a little bit. We drained the bottle last night.
Uh-huh. It looks almost clear now. No fever, huh? Lóc tao lúc con đi. Đúng mà. Nó cho chơi lên. How many days has it been since we did the skin graft on this boy here?
3 days.
3 days. He's got no fever. Well, let's have a look at it here. Well, it looks like most of it's going to take. On the side here is just dried serum. There are some dusky areas, but even those may survive. Down here, the graft bed was not very good, but all in all, I think it's going to be a pretty good take. Well, let's just put this fly net back over his leg here so we can keep the flies off from the serum. Okay, that looks good. For this man with the femur fracture has been here about 10.5 weeks now. He'll be ready to go pretty soon. He's been in traction so long, we've got some cobwebs on his traction apparatus. The x-ray we took the other day shows some callus formation, so I think he's going to be all right.